Put the Women and Children to Bed is fresh from the Shawn Michaels A&E biography. Marty Jannetty returns for a Party with Marty triple header. Friday, June 18th, Saturday, June 19th, and then joining us again for the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Sunday, June the 20th, taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings. It's going to be a huge weekend that demands fan involvement. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com for complete information and pre-ordering option. Let's help keep wrestling legends working and great wrestling talk show content being produced. We can't do it without you. Help us explode into summer. 7 nights a week at 7 p.m.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of your favorite new Sunday night tradition, Wrestling Insiders Stern But Fair. I'm Dan Mirade, along with the former and the first Boston Wrestling MWF Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Tiger Mulligan. It was a hellacious week. We had our MWF Board of Directors meeting. We'll probably talk more about that in the next episode with so much going on right now. We are a little bit trying to recover from 3 days of Marty Jannetty's live episodes, rocking, rolling, partying. Well, he's been partying since he came out of the womb, but certainly 3 very unique live episodes with Marty Jannetty at the helm. A lot of fans got their autograph photos signed. Marty interacted with them. It was a good time was had by all. It feels like December 26th as he goes home tomorrow and I begin to recoup.
As you begin to recoup.
Recoup.
I don't think there's going to be any recouping from that. It's just Marty doesn't like to recoup. He just likes to continue to party.
Well, see, he's going back to Georgia, and on Tuesday I'm going with Linda Mirade and the kids to Orlando. So I really I'm going to need a vacation from Marty, then I'm going to need a vacation from dealing with that.
You just need a vacation from life.
I have not, like I said, I have been at this building every single day since getting off the plane from Tampa, WrestleMania week, April 13th. Wow. I am going to die in this chair. I'm going to be like the guy at Weekend at Bernie's. Then they're going to wheel me down the ramp to do an interview with someone.
Who's going to wheel you?
That I do not. Maybe it'll be my good friend Howard Miller. I don't know.
Oh,
Jackie the Joke Man. There's many here that you have yet to meet. Many of them that weren't even out of the womb.
Shout out to Howard Miller, I guess.
Well, you know what? We're going to forget about a shout out to Howard Miller. We're going to give a shout out to Howard's teeth. He had his wisdom teeth removed, and he's in an awful lot of pain, but was still a big help getting the set up for Marty and all the technical jargon that goes along with it. So we got some great people that make things happen, even though they're not on the talk shows BSing with us. But we would never BS on one of these talk shows. We take them far too seriously.
You know what's crazy though is they're doing all that great work up there, to bring this show to you and all the shows that that you bring to the world, the fans and everybody there. But I got to get in touch with somebody because these audio files that I'm begging for, I'm only getting them. They're coming in.
Oh, you know
slowly,
what?
But surely.
As a matter of fact, I actually did it, and then I must have, because of just the size, I must have deleted the sent email. What is it your the short version of your name, last version, then 4380?
Yes.
At Gmail?
Yes.
Now, I thought I already sent you our most recent episode.
No, you sent me.
I know I sent you 2
You're
of
a
them.
week behind. You're a week behind on me.
So I sent you the last 2 before last week.
That's right, because the fans want to hear it. And where can they get it? They can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. Pocket Cast. They can go wherever they get.
All right,
wherever they get their listen on, as I call it, to listen to us free every Sunday. We drop a new episode, and we're all I need you to do is go on there, give us that 5-star rating, give us a review, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can continue to bring you these great audio feeds free of charge.
And on top of that, more great episodes are coming with the plethora of superstars that we work with. So I know you are going to be Mr. Audio for us, I guess, now.
I mean, hey, they call me Mr. Stern, but now maybe they'll call me Mr. Audio.
Well, it is en route as we speak. Funny enough, Howard was actually you mentioned Stern. He was the stunt double for Howard Stern in Private Parts of the movie back in, I think that would have been about 97. But check your email to see if that came through, just so I can rest a little more here as I continue my busy work, as I am trying to get everything done for these fine fans through June the 27th over the matter of just a few days, because like I said, I am going to have the world's smallest pair of Mickey Mouse ears on when I make it to the Sunshine State. Well, I hope that you make it and have a safe trip and enjoy your time down there. But in the meantime... she'll be there. I won't enjoy it. But anyway. In the meantime, we need to dive into the world of professional wrestling. Well, you know how to dive into things. But anyway, let's get started, brother. What do we got? No, I know how to slide into things. Well, you certainly did a lot of that over at the old Red Roof and the Holiday Inn Express. But yeah, and I've left my room key there for Marty so he could party. Well, he's not there, so there you go. Oh, all right. Well, then I feel bad for him then. Anyway, so a lot of stuff going on this week, and it's funny because as we tape this, I'm watching my news feeds right now, and I notice some recent released WWE talents are trying to get out of their 90-day compete clause. I wonder if that's gonna go through. What do you think? I find that interesting, because to me that would say they must have some big money offers on the table if they want to pass it. Well, again, it depends on the talent, I guess, on what they were making. But I mean, if you're talking about someone like a Strowman or a Black, you'd think they'd want to take that money from Uncle Vince as long as they can get it, unless they have big raises coming somewhere. And I don't think they're getting raises anywhere. At least not those two guys. Maybe somebody like a Murphy might be getting some more money somewhere, or I can't. Maybe a Ruby Riott maybe getting more money somewhere, but I can't foresee any of those other guys. But you know what? Kudos to them. Whoever's doing it and trying to get out of that, I think it's a BS clause anyway. I don't. It's not like they're not paying them. But come on, you're paying them to sit at home. And it really, does it really devalue them? I mean, I don't think so. That's the whole point, is they don't want them to go jump to another TV. If you don't want them to jump to another TV, why'd you fire them in the first place? That's my always, that's what I always say. Well, maybe there's different ways to go about it. Maybe they could tell them that they're going to cut them and still have them, by obligation, they could still have them show up for those 90 days at the TV tapings and job out every week if they really wanted them to. I've never understood that. If I was going to get rid of someone, I'd want them to do the jobs on the way out. I'm like Strowman. Did he look bad on his way out at all? I can't recall the last thing he did. Maybe he was in a three-way. He was in that. Yeah, he was in that pay-per-view. I don't remember if he did anything after that WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view main event he did. But I would have had him put over a couple of guys. You know what I mean? I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree. And that goes for all of them. I think the only one they really ever did it with was, they bring Heath Slater back when the pandemic first hit. Yeah. But they did that one night thing, and he was one and done. And I think they even offered him another contract at that point in time, but he turned it down. Yeah. So good for him. But you know what? Yeah. This whole 90-day non-compete, I don't get it. I get it from a standpoint of they don't want these guys to go get, paydays somewhere else and show up on somebody else's TV or, whatever the case might be. But, it just doesn't make any sense. Again, you're not using them to begin with. You're firing them. You don't want them on your TV, but yet you want to keep them off somebody else's TV. They've invested millions of dollars in these people. You know what? Then why fire them? Why get rid of them? If they don't want them anymore, then why does it matter? If they don't want them, they don't see value in them. What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. As long as they're getting the payday, I have zero problem with that clause. Yeah, I don't know. If they're being shorted a penny, I do have a problem with it. But. Now, why did Andrade not have a 90-day compete? Do you know anything about that situation? I think they wanted to keep the Nature Girl happy, is going to be my guess. Yeah. I don't think they wanted tension in the air when it comes to that. Especially where there was some tension with her new face, but that's a different story for a different time. Well,
You're terrible.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
Thank
I'm
God
not
for that.
Dave Meltzer. I had nothing to do with it.
Oh man,
You
Dave
know.
Meltzer. He's another piece of shit. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I think his work will be widely appreciated decades from now, but that's a different story for a different time.
Oh come on, his work has never been appreciated ever.
Well, I think
He's a leech. He's a leech on this business. We didn't have the balls to get into it.
I think his historical records that he keeps are going to be very valuable. His personal opinion, now that's a different story for a different time. Those are two different things. One is his historical records that he's kept. The second being his personal opinion of his likes and his dislikes. I think sometimes it meshes too much. I think it should be more one or the other. I think with this show, we almost run into the same problem, or at least with our studio shoot interview talk shows, because there is a lot of history we try and document on there with the guys, but there's a lot of personal opinion that goes along with it. So I'll say this just to be upfront. He has asked me to vote in his Hall of Fame before, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know. That's not, he's just somebody to me who, again, he's just a leech. He's a leech on the business. He thinks he knows what he's talking about. He never really has the inside scoop. And he gets these lackeys and these gophers and these snitches and whatever to, give him the shit information that he gets. It's stupid.
Would you say that about a reporter about baseball or a reporter about movies? Well, they've never been in a movie. How can they critique one?
You know what it is? Here's the thing. I guess anybody could be a critic, right? Because it's a TV show, it's a soap opera, it is what it is. So anybody who really puts eyes on it can critique it. I think for him, it's just the way he goes about it and the way he carries himself. Because I've met the guy a couple times, and to me, it comes off where he feels like he's above the business. And you know what? That's just I don't know. That's somebody like that. I don't appreciate. Does he have value to the business? No. I mean, I don't know. To me, he's just a leech who wants to get rich off the business, but not actually put anything back into it. He doesn't want to give anything back to it.
Well, you know what? I can certainly respect that point of view, and I can understand someone looking at it like that. But, WWF at one point had someone assigned to him to give him information and, attendance figures and gates and things like that. And I know he had some of the contacts he had in WCW during the Monday Night War era. I can't speak to right now, but, he's not one of these fly-by-nighters that people call dirt sheet people. He is someone that I would say out of anyone that does it, I would say he has, as far as his track record goes, the most credibility. But
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. No, I'll give you that one because you know what? He's been around, and you know what? Good for him for making a living, off of it for X amount of years. I mean, geez, he was around even during the whole, 80s in the sex scandals in WWF,
long before that.
The steroids. Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while. So kudos to him for making a dime and doing whatever it is that he does and living out in LA, I believe he does. So. Good for him. But at the same time, like I said, he just wants to soak up all the money and the I guess whatever fame he has from it and not give anything back, which sucks.
Like I said, to me, I don't look at any different as someone that writes articles in the newspaper about baseball or football or something like that.
Yeah. I guess if you put it that way, maybe I'll contradict myself a little bit and say I totally get that point of view of it.
I've seen a lot of clowns put things out online and so on that have probably never even met anyone that's ever even worked in the industry, never mind office officials. So those are the hacks that I roll my eyes at. But someone like him, whether you like his personal opinion about wrestling, to me is different than the historical work he's done, which I think is actually very good.
Yeah, when you put it that way, maybe I can say stand corrected, and you got a good point. And
you're fair, even if you are stern.
I try my best, but moving on. Good week this week in wrestling. No, I mean some good. What do you think about the shows that have been on? Now I haven't. Obviously, we're taping this before SmackDown, so I haven't seen all that stuff in AEW. But NXT, I'm a big fan. I think NXT is my favorite show right now. I could do without Raw, but I'm sure you caught the NXT takeover on this past Sunday. I felt was a pretty decent show.
That was very good. I enjoyed that show. And to me, the one thing that continues to be the issue, Beth Phoenix. She's awful.
Yeah.
With those.
What about her outfit though? She had a good.
Oh yeah, she's always got those. Yeah, she thinks she's the Grand Wizard back in '83 with her little snazzy jackets. Please.
I don't know. I felt it was more Michael Hayes-esque than anything.
Well, maybe it was for the In Your House theme, but I mean, just someone that you talk about having no credibility. I mean, nothing she says sounds like anything an actual human being would say. There was something this week on the TV show. She got into an argument with Wade Barrett saying, well, Wade, I don't like the way you describe this about Breezango was trained by WWE Hall of Famer Killer Kowalski and Fandango. Oh, no, not what's the other one's name? Tyler Breeze was trained by Lance Storm, only she said it in verbiage that no human being would ever use and said it in a tone of voice that no human being would ever use. She sucks. I don't know why they put her out there to drain that show.
I think
disagree. The other two are pretty good.
I used to disagree, but after this week and even kind of going back a little bit, I see what you're saying, and she's not. I hate to say that she sucks. I think she's gotten better, but since she first started,
I don't see any improvement. That's the problem.
I think it just doesn't. I've never been a big fan of the 3-person booth to begin with, and when you have somebody like that just bringing it down, and it stinks that I don't want to talk bad about her because she's such a sweet person. But at the same time,
and she is very nice. And I'll throw that out there. She was inducted at the Cauliflower Alley Club about 6-7 years ago now at this point. But it's just I am looking at the specific role of that of a color commentator, and she is not good at it. She adds no credibility to the product. She does not make the product any better. She does not get the wrestlers over. She does not get the personalities over. She does not get the angles over. She does not get the moves over, and she does not get the matches over. So what is she on there for, other than the fact she's Edge's wife?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like she brings credibility for the way that she, she had a great career. But as far as everything else you said,
I 100% career did she have?
I mean, she had a really good run.
Yeah, she had a lot of great boyfriends.
Oh, come on! Here we go. Now you're going to be the stern one today.
Well, because you know what? Was she a good lady wrestler at the time? She was better than the norm. But other than that, there isn't much to write home about. Can you think of really any good Beth Phoenix matches?
I mean, if you put it that way, no, not off the top of my head. But at the same,
can you even think of any Beth Phoenix matches, really?
If you look back at that era, I mean, there were no good matches. The ladies' matches were horrendous.
But she's a Hall of Famer that was there for the better part of a decade. Shouldn't there be some memory of something that she did if she's a Hall of Fame talent?
On the 12th, she had a fantastic match.
Yeah, she did. And she rode home with CM Punk. Yeah.
Oh God. You're on fire today.
I'm tired.
Marty's really got you running around. You're on fire.
Oh boy!
And I'm looking at my email, and I still don't have my files.
It still didn't go through.
I don't want to get sidetracked. Let's keep talking about NXT Takeover. My big takeaway from NXT Takeover, and you're gonna shit all over me, but I am becoming a huge fan of Cameron Grimes.
Oh.
Well, don't do it to me. When he stood in the middle of the ring and LA Knight is down, he kind of was sitting up a little bit and he put his butt in his face and yelled, "Kiss my grits." I popped and rewound it two times. It was
twice.
He's got it. He knows how to play a character, and I fully enjoy it. I fully enjoy watching him on the TV.
If he was on a show that was meant for little kids, I'd say fine, but I mean, what are they ever going to do with him outside of? I think he's hit.
It doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything with him. He's not going to ever be a top guy. He's that mid-card guy that entertains. He's actually entertaining me, and I enjoy it.
You'd put him on the main roster?
Sure, why not? Santino was on the main roster.
Well, Santino. Well, I'm not going to knock the guy too much, but I think this is a difference between the two. But again, one man's opinion.
Yeah. I mean, but really, what's the difference between the two? Santino was nothing but a comedy gimmick.
Yeah, but he looked like a man. Well, and I'm not saying.
What does he look like? An old lady?
I mean, Cameron Grimes looks like a little 5'8", 140-pound guy. I mean, Santino was at least
you're
thick,
100%
solid.
correct.
He was, not that the fans that were casual would know, but I mean, he was a shooter. He had a background. I mean, I would at least respect Santino Marella.
Oh, come on. Nobody knew that he was a shooter. I didn't know that until after he left WWE.
Well, I did. So I had a little respect
You're not
for
the
him.
norm. You're not the norm. You got to think like a normal fan.
I understand. But, was it goofy? Yeah, but the camera... I don't know how you can say anything that puts a sock puppet on isn't stupid. But
well, I mean, Mick Foley put a sock puppet on.
I wasn't a big fan of that either. But you know what? Mick could barely get out of bed, so he needed whatever help he could get at that point.
Yeah, that's true. But for what he was getting paid, come on. Anyway. But no, I'm a big fan of Cameron Grimes, and I'm at the same token, I think LA Nate's got a lot of potential as well. I think he's got a good showing. He's got a great physique. He looks good. He carries himself well. I like what he did with Ted DiBiase on this past NXT on Tuesday.
I was very impressed with the bump that Ted took.
You know what's funny? It's in my notes right here. Ted DiBiase bumped. That's exactly what it wrote, and I was just gonna say that. Wow. He came back and actually took a bump, and you don't see that these days.
It was good.
He's a professional.
Yeah,
of course it was.
I mean, most of them will drop to the knee or something like that, but I mean, he went in there.
Or just do the old hacksaw Jim Duggan or Nikolai Volkov roll bump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Ted took one for the team. I was very, very proud of Ted.
Yeah, well, I mean, he probably needs the money with all the lawsuits he's got going on.
Well, I don't know if anything has been finalized there, so maybe not yet.
Alleged lawsuits, we'll say.
Well, I don't think those are alleged, but
anyway. But no, I thought that was a good little segment that they had.
Yeah.
But again, the one thing I kind of shake my head at a little bit, and I'm still trying to understand the Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know if she's a heel or a babyface. I'm not really understanding it too much. In ring wise, I'm not a huge fan, but I thought she had a pretty good showing with Ember Moon. It wasn't a 5-star match, but it wasn't the worst match on the show. So I thought it was pretty good. I think Ember was able to carry her through the match. The only thing I could say really about Ember is I hate her haircut. I think she needs to change it, but other than that, I think she's great. I don't know. And then the 5-way match with Karrion Kross, and again, Karrion Kross, I think he's going to be a star if they play their cards right. I think he's got a great look, and it's crazy to me because I didn't realize how big and tall he was until he stood against all the other guys in the ring.
Yeah.
Wow, very
in the land of Oz.
Yeah, very, very showing on how little those other guys are. And this is coming from a 5'9" guy or a 5'10" guy, so I have nothing to say there. But I just I guess the only thing I really scratch my head at is what was the deal? Why did they make it a 5-way? And why can't they just make championship matches one-on-one anymore?
I miss that too. I like a multi-man match on a rare occasion that actually has a purpose to it. And this one kind of did, where he called them out. It added a little bit of element of suspense, maybe, where anyone could beat anybody and the championship could change hands. Because if I'm Vince and I'm going to call that guy up to the main roster, do I want him losing to 140-pound Adam Cole, baby?
Yeah, but
on the way out, you know what I mean?
At the same time, he had, Asuka. They had Asuka not lose to anybody. She was undefeated in NXT, and look at her now. She
was injured.
Injured when? When was she injured?
When she forfeited the NXT championship.
She didn't forfeit the championship.
Asuka?
She left it. She left with it.
Well, yeah, she forfeited it. She gave it up.
I guess that. Yeah, but she wasn't injured. She got called up, and then.
Are you sure she wasn't injured?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
I think I'd bet you $1 on that she was injured for a bit before she came up, and instead of having her come back to lose, they just decided to forfeit it, and then eventually she made her Raw debut, and which led to your friend Leo Rush's infamous tweet.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. I don't really remember that because when she came up, she won the Royal Rumble.
No, she beat Asuka at the October pay-per-view.
I'm talking about Asuka.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
She made her debut on the October pay-per-view that Angle worked.
Who are you talking about?
Asuka.
Okay. You just said she beat Asuka. Who's she?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. She beat the Australian one. What's her name now?
Rhea Ripley?
No, the one that used to dance with Santino.
Emma.
Yes.
Tennille Dashwood.
And then they canned Emma, and Leo sent out that tweet saying that Leo couldn't handle Asuka or something like that, which buried him for a while.
Yeah, I mean.
So I think that was 2017, if I remember right.
See, now you got me questioning myself. I'm pretty. I could have sworn that. I don't remember her being injured. That she just they called her up.
No, she just didn't show up one week and say, "Okay, I'm leaving. Bye. Here's your belt." And
No, I think they gave her a farewell.
They did do the farewell, but I am pretty certain she was injured, and then that's when they brought her up. They figured, why bring her back to lose? Which kind of made sense, I guess.
It does make sense.
If she had to forfeit it anyway due to the nature of the injury, why bring her back to lose?
Yeah.
This guy, though, I mean, can you imagine the WrestleMania entrance they're going to have for him in the future? The only thing that worries me, he's not the youngest guy on the planet. I would be in kind of a rush to get him up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I guess really age doesn't really play a factor, but to me, that what kind of frightens me a little bit is how he's already been injured and been out for a while. So is he injury prone? I doubt it, but I haven't followed his career before this. I think he was in Impact, maybe, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That kind of ugly dispute which led to him leaving Impact.
Oh, yeah, I don't know much about that.
Well, he got over really strong and was a top guy, and he wasn't making much money, and he wanted a raise, and there was money out there to be had by WWE, and you know what? You can look at it in a couple of different ways, but to me, if you sign a contract for X amount of time, you fulfill the deal.
Yeah,
Impact
I agree.
gave him a platform to get over on.
Yes, I 100% agree. Is what these guys got to realize, though, is they got to structure their contract to say, okay, if, give me this much to start, but if I do X amount of this or that or whatever, structure it somewhere so where you're going to get that raise if you're doing something. You can't go crying the blues if you agree on something like you say, and then you're not happy with those after you've kind of gotten yourself over. Well, know that you're going to get yourself over.
With a company like Impact, what business metric could they look at to say, okay, we'll give you more money? I mean, where it's so minuscule to begin with.
Obviously he didn't start on the, in the main event. So if he's building himself up to the main event, then you could say, hey, if I'm going to start here, but if I get to here and I start main eventing your pay-per-views, then you got to give you some kind of bonus incentive.
I could see that, I guess. I think that's fair for just about anybody, but
of course, and it gives the guys and girls incentives to get over. What's the incentive to get over if you're just getting paid?
Well, the value of the paycheck,
I guess. I don't know.
And character and integrity.
Now, does his little side piece, Scarlett, you think she's ever going to work?
I don't know.
She worked in TNA and Impact as well, right?
Yeah. I don't know why they haven't had her compete.
They don't need her to. I mean, I think she's better doing what she's doing.
Exactly. She's far better off doing what she's doing. We don't.
She's going to turn into the next Lana?
I don't know. She reminds me of kind of that vampire girl they had there for a while.
Who's not
Shelly
Serena.
Martinez.
Oh God, that's terrible.
Well, she's just kind of dark and creepy, and
yeah.
I mean,
all right. We'll see where it goes.
I'd rather it just be the valet. I think they have a good chemistry, the two of them.
And I mean, to kind of transition over, I mean, how about your buddy Samoa Joe coming back on NXT TV this week as the big enforcer?
I don't know if I'd call him my buddy, but it was a nice return. I was a little surprised. I would have figured there would have been some big money for Joe out there to go after, but he returned to the WWE universe just in a different capacity.
I think a situation with Joe, and I mean, geez, I don't know what type of money he's getting and those types of situations, but I think he knows that like he's getting a little long in the tooth, and he's not going to be around much longer as far as in-ring goes. So go to where he probably is going to get the most out of WWE. So why not go there? And why not stay?
You think he would get more out of an NXT contract than an AEW contract?
So yes, and the reason I say that is he can bring value in different spots. So maybe he could be a producer, maybe he could be a trainer down at the Performance Center, because I know he lives pretty close to over there. So maybe he can get like a dual paycheck. So he can get a talent paycheck plus a salaried, employee paycheck, which in the long run would be better for him and would give him more longevity with the company if he's doing something other than just on-air stuff.
Well, I mean, if there's that type of an interest in him, sure then. But I would have thought AEW's A brand would have been able to offer more in the wallet than WWE's C brand. But maybe
you think so?
Oh yeah.
You never know, though. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that the ceiling is the cap for budgets as far as AEW goes is they're getting up there. They're signing a lot of guys and girls, and because they want them to be exclusive. They got a large talent pool already. I mean, there can't be much more money to be thrown around unless Tony Khan wants to be a money mark and throw around so much money and not be afraid to lose it.
Well, they have the second TV show that launches August 13th, so there's extra income right there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean that's true. But I guess only time will tell.
We'll see.
I don't think they've made much profit over the past couple of years, if any. And then don't get me wrong, they're a startup, so no startup is really going to make millions of dollars in their first couple of years. But they need to start turning a profit soon, otherwise they're going to be a sinking ship.
Well, I don't think they have anything to worry about. They have a long-term deal with Turner for their 2 TV shows. They're going to have the income. Well, granted, there are more expenses going on the road, but they'll have ticket income coming their way starting when? I think the Wednesday after July 4th. They're in Miami. Yeah. So,
yeah.
With that comes merchandise sales at the arenas. So, I think things are looking good for them. But
now, do you know anything about their merchandising structure? Because those guys are still using Pro Wrestling Tees, right?
Which I find odd, but you know what? I could you imagine Vince doing that?
Yeah. I mean, no, I can't, because he's got to control everything, like we've said in the past. But who knows? Maybe it works for him. Maybe it's less money they have to pay their guys, and they let their guys make their own income that way. I don't know. I don't know how their contracts are structured.
As the owner of the company, I wouldn't want to do it that way, but I guess it works for them.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll restructure it later on down the road, or maybe they look at it. I mean, he's running his company more like he runs his football team, so maybe they're looking at it like that, to where it's like an endorsement type thing. So like when their star football players get endorsements outside of their contract, they don't really have much. The Jacksonville doesn't have much to do with that. So maybe that's how they are looking at it. Who knows? Well, maybe they get a back percentage on whatever. Through the Pro Wrestling Tees stuff.
I would sure hope they're going to get something out of it, fans. But let me tell you this. If you want to talk about great merchandise, right now we're going to take a brief time out. Check out the Boston Wrestling eBay store, fans. We have merchandise from superstars of every era, every promotion. Every purchase helps us bring more great wrestling superstars to this fine studio to tell their stories, and you get an on-air shout-out on Wrestling Insiders from one of those superstars themselves. We'll be back after this brief timeout.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Mirade.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event, number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
WWE is coming home to Kansas City with Monday Night Raw. WWE is back with Monday Night Raw in Kansas City, Monday, July 26th. Tickets on sale now.
Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to our Sunday night favorite, Stern but Fair. I am Dan Mirade, along with the one and only Mr. Tiger Mulligan, part of the Boston Wrestling MWF Board of Directors, a man that had a lengthy undefeated streak and was the first man to wear championship gold in this fine organization that is getting ready to celebrate its 20th anniversary as we go back to the 80s for WrestleFest Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. Some big announcements are going to be made on July the 4th, from what I understand. So Pops goes the 4th on America's birthday. I hand the baton back to the Tiger.
I'm Tiger Mulligan, living legend, wrestling icon.
Living legend. All right.
Yes, in my own eyes, at least.
All right, well, there you
go. So how about your girl Eva Marie coming back to WWE Raw this week?
Please. Talk about needless, unwanted, uninteresting,
Yeah.
and all
what about
of the
Piper
above.
Niven, though?
Even worse. Even
what
worse.
About really?
Garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Seen it? Well, you know what? Seen it once. Do you want to see it every week?
No, God no.
Well,
no,
okay, that's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. She looks great.
Batten down the hatches. That's you. As I've said before, there's a million ways that men can look at beautiful women online, whether it be PG rated, R rated, X rated, however rated you want to look at it.
And you
they
know
don't
all
need it
about
on their
that.
pro wrestling store. Their pro wrestling show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't really understand the whole dynamic between the two females. So I'm guessing Piper Niven is the heater, but then why are you having her go out and wrestle? I don't foresee Eva really wrestling too much. Not to say that she can't. I'm sure she's been training and getting in the ring. She's in phenomenal shape. So, kudos to her for that. But I don't really understand where this is going. I will continue to watch and see. And then if I need to shit all over it, I will at that point in time. But right now it's not so bad. I feel bad for Naomi, who I think is a great in-ring competitor, but if they're not going to do anything with her, they might as well just give her the axe like they have everybody else, because I'm sure they're paying her pretty good. But moving on.
I don't think they'd want to
that.
upset the Anoa'i family.
Yeah, but I mean, it's business. You can't be. This is the thing about it. So like all of a sudden, all these guys and girls are dating each other, married to each other, and now you're gonna have to worry about pissing off one to get rid of the other, or vice versa.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
It's business. I think Tyler Black said it the best. Not Tyler Black. Yeah, is that his name? Aleister Black. What's his name? What's his real name?
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black. I don't even know anymore. But I think he said it best where, when his wifey got the axe, him as a person was upset, but it was business and he understood it and he kept his mouth shut because that's the way it was. So, unfortunately, it
did him well in the long run. Did him well in the long run.
It didn't. But again,
he was gone 6 months later. Yeah.
Yeah, he was missing something. I mean, I think this is just my own opinion. If you look at the long run, I think Zelina Vega brings more value than Aleister Black, especially for somebody that could talk on the microphone. Who she would be with now, I don't know, because Andrade's not there anymore. But I don't know.
That's with Angel Gaza too.
Yeah, but what's weird is like you kind of look back at those storylines or whatever it is. It's like they just break people up for the sake of breaking people up. I don't know why they do stuff like that.
And they have no idea how to follow up with it.
They don't.
They love to break people up. I mean, it was like my buddy.
Yeah, your buddy. He's a great guy.
The whole world in the palm of his hands. He had the beautiful blonde. He had his best friend teaming with him. Then his partner turned heel on him, and they never had a match. They took his woman away from him and put her on at the show.
Yeah.
And then they gave him some guy that it was almost never on television. And now they took his beard.
It took his beard off. I was just about to say, and didn't even look like him.
Life isn't easy for Otis. I guess they got tired of that toy real quick.
It just is so. But here's the other funny thing is now Vince McMahon's whatchamacallit, new pet, I guess, is Reginald, from what I'm reading. He's a big fan of Reginald and what they're going to do with Reginald and how he carries himself and all this other nonsense. I don't know, man. I don't know. Vince is maybe he's just getting too old to be running the company, but he just bounces back and forth from too many different things.
I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, he calls the shots.
Yeah.
The shows are unenjoyable for the most part, at least Raw. SmackDown, at least where it's 2 hours, if you have a couple of hit segments, it turns into a pretty good show. But as far as Raw goes, it's brutal to sit through most of the time. The talent that they put on main event on the internet show as opposed to TV baffles me a lot of the time. I could go through it from top to bottom, and it's mind-blowingly bad how they could have so much talent, so many great athletes, and let it turn into, well, you know what? Nia Jax looks like a shrunk-wrapped package of hot dogs.
Yep.
Let's put her on TV 6 times this week, and we'll have Reginald on 4 or 5 times this week, and we'll have the woman beat up the man, but the man can never touch the woman back. They should eliminate that completely. That's another thing that irritates me.
Yep.
If Reginald can't throw a punch, he shouldn't be beaten up either.
No, I don't disagree. And he could flip-flop and fly, which is great, but I don't know. I don't get it. There was no backstory. Like, all of a sudden, he's with Nia Jax, but he came up with, I can't even remember who he came up with.
Carmella.
Was it Carmella? Yeah. So he's not even on the same show anymore as Carmella. So it's, I just don't understand the reasoning behind all this. Yeah, I just don't know the storylines behind it. It doesn't make much sense. I guess there's a new edict, that sent down from Vince saying that there's no more cold matches. Like, I don't even understand that.
What?
Like, I guess cold matches, meaning the matches that are on TV need to have some kind of rhyme or reason.
Every match.
They can't just. That's what I'm reading.
Well, it goes the idea of enhancement talent, I guess.
But that's what I was just going to say is, what's the point? Every match should be a cold match. They shouldn't have, the storyline should be within and around the match and then build to something. There's no building to anything anymore. The only thing that I did appreciate this week was seeing my old friend Viking Raider Ivar on the main event, and they set up the Hell in the Cell match, I think, pretty decently, to where Bobby Lashley lost to Drew McIntyre, and within a tag match. So to me, that's old school booking, where you have some kind of tag. The tag champs are going against the number one contenders. The heavyweight title is going against the number one contender in that tag match. It's built around some kind of story. You get the one up with Drew McIntyre, so now he's going in with the advantage, and there's a story behind it. So to me, that's
which
the old
almost
school
guarantees
booking.
he's going to lose.
Yes, but you never know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I think you kind of
that's
they could throw
the
a
recipe
monkey wrench
on
into
almost
it.
every pay-per-view for the
but that's
past
always
20
been-
years.
But that's always been the recipe. Even back in the day, it's been the recipe like that for so long. Like they built the Saturday night's main events and to bring in, the main event guy or whatever they're going to do. And whether somebody goes down or up, you could kind of pick it from coming out of that Saturday night's main event.
I would say, you know what? Keep them as far away from each other as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Make
another way of
people
looking
want to
at
see it, as opposed to giving it to them sometimes multiple times in the same week, leading into the pay-per-view on a show that no one likes to begin with.
Yeah, I see that point of view with it. But at the same time, I still think they built a good story around it. You don't just have, I guess, a cold match out there for the sake of having a cold match. Or what I also liked, you didn't give away Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre as far as one-on-one competition for a title or whatnot for free. And make somebody pay for it. So I kind of appreciate that a little bit. Maybe their thinking behind it is that, Drew McIntyre won. Now he might be able to beat him in the cage, and the title will change. So there's going to be a better buy rate. Maybe that's their old school thinking of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm Drew McIntyre out. I tried to give it a chance, but it's so flat. It's so boring. He was presented fairly well up until last fall, but once he started to lose the title over and over again, the ship sailed for me.
Yeah, it stinks because I don't think he got a fair shake as far as timing wise goes, which is not his fault. It's just the way the world was.
I mean, it was the worst possible time ever to do that with him, especially for someone that had never held it previously. You know what I mean? Yeah,
100%. Well, we'll see what happens. They got the Hell in the Cell coming this weekend. I'm not really looking forward to it because there's really nothing to look forward to as far as matches go. And a lot of the matches don't make much sense. Like, they shotgunned Roman Reigns against Rey Mysterio, and now that's in a cage, which it's so baffling.
At least Bobby and Drew is the culmination of something as opposed to the beginning.
But will it be, or do you think they'll go one more at Money in the Bank?
Isn't this supposed to be his final opportunity or something?
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
I thought
it could be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the stipulation. It was Drew's final
as long
shot.
as long as Bobby Lashley is the champ, he can't fight for the title anymore.
Yeah.
But
maybe he can take his sword
that makes me
and chop
think.
through the cell.
Well, yeah, he already did the table spot, so
Yeah,
he might
big
as well.
dramatic entrance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? At least, but again, for the sake of argument, at least if this is going to be the end, at least it's culminating through a cage match, and that's the way it used to be when I was growing up, where they had some kind of big match to blow it off. But who knows what they're going to do?
I don't know
They'll
why
probably
they
do
need to
something
have
stupid.
more than one.
Well, that's the name of the pay-per-view. Every match should be in a cage.
No. Hell in a Cell. I mean, why do they have to have more than one?
I don't know.
Roman and Ray certainly doesn't need that stipulation at this point.
Yeah, no, it just, there's not enough build to it. And that this is the other part of it. Rey Mysterio is not going to win. He's already got a title on. He's got a tag title, which you're totally negating the fact that he's a tag champion. So why is he in a singles match? Because the son got beat up? You should have just done that quick thing over on SmackDown. Like during the actual SmackDown show, and then had Roman go against somebody else.
But
or
who?
Just keep him off the show for all that, that matter of fact. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing about WWE makes sense
Look
anymore.
at who he just came out of the pay-per-view with, Cesaro. I mean, They have nothing for the man.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Cesaro, for as good as he is, he still just doesn't have it.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's very good, but nobody cared. I don't think anyone thought that Cesaro was going to win.
No, of course not. Of course not. And if you did, then you're a dope. I mean, sorry to hear that, but
I mean, at least Mysterio, for better or worse, is a main event guy.
Is he still though?
He's a former world champion. He's got that credibility going for him.
Listen, I'm a former world champion too, but nobody's going to pay to see me. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Look at that.
I think Rey Mysterio's come and gone. I think the luster is off of it. He's not a main eventer anymore. Keep him in the middle of the card to help elevate other guys that need elevated. Roman doesn't need to be elevated.
Again, you look at that roster, and who the hell do you put Roman with?
I don't know off the top of my head. But that's the thing. If you could build, they don't build anybody. There's no building around anyone. They don't do anything with anybody. It just, that's the whole point of it, is they're just putting people out there for the sake of putting them out there. They're writing the shows the day of the show. That's what killed WCW. Now it's happening to WWE. And I'm surprised Vince is letting it happen. I don't know.
At the end of the day, it's up to him to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And it's just, for the better part of 20 years, there's been a lot more thumbs down than thumbs up.
Yeah. I just think he's too overwhelmed with everything else. And I don't know. Why is Triple H pigeonholed to NXT? Why can't he be, doing other stuff with Raw and SmackDown? I mean, NXT I think is a really good show. To me, it's their top show right now. It might not show that ratings wise, but as far as product goes, it's better than Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. Imagine if it had a little star power on it.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
So I used to laugh when people would say, "Oh, AEW killed NXT in the ratings again by 125,000 viewers this week." And you're talking about an A brand against a C brand, but I think NXT does well enough for itself. I think the house shows are absolutely fantastic for fans that have never seen them. I enjoy those NXT shows live immensely. Maybe a few too many women's matches, but other than that, I mean, just a great atmosphere, a great ambiance. And the same can be said for WWE's live, non-televised events too. But I really have enjoyed the NXT ones that I've gone to, and WWE has been kind enough to have me as their guest to them. I have enjoyed them eons more than any television taping.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been to a whole bunch of them early on when they first started touring, and they were awesome. They were really good. It was that kind of cult underground type of feel to it. I don't want to compare it to an ECW feel, but I've never been to an ECW live event back in the day. But just kind of talking to others, it's kind of what the vibe is that I got from it. It was phenomenal, and I'm actually looking forward to them getting back out on the road, because I would definitely go watch that one again. I don't know about the others.
You never went to an ECW live event?
You know what's funny? I don't really recall. Like, I know that I've been to a few live events to try to get work, but not actually stay and watch the show. Oh. So I can't recall. I've never been to one that I can remember.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Quincy Rustani has just stormed into the studio. Always a pleasure to see him. Al Snow's best friend.
Oh, well, Al Snow needs a best friend, I guess.
Everyone does in life. And it's always good to see Quincy. I'm sure you remember him from some of his renditions of the national anthem at our live events.
I'm sure that if I wanted to remember it, I would. Yeah. I'm sorry that I don't, but big shout out to him.
Well, a big shout out indeed. He's one of the great goodwill ambassadors we have here in the MWF, to say the least.
And there's too many to count as far as great will ambassadors. I'm sure he's on the top of the list of that list.
It is. It is. He's still driving his 78 Honda-matic motorcycle, which is amazing.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
78. Older than you and I.
Let me ask you this. What's the deal with, what's her name? Alexa Bliss. I kind of like the stuff that she's doing right now.
You like that she's possessed?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. She did a couple things in this match the other day that I was like, oh, that's different. It was like an exorcist type, the way she was moving around. Yeah. A lot different and good. It's a character, at least. Would I watch it every week? No. because the backstage stuff that she does, you know, she could definitely talk on the microphone, but her little doll, I'm not a fan of that. But I think she's on a different level, and she's on her way up. I enjoy it.
Well, you know, it's funny. John Cena Sr. and I had a discussion about that. We think just the opposite. What do you do when you run its course with the possessed Alexa Bliss? Can you redeem her to bring her back to being a normal human being again, or does she join the future endeavored list?
I think you could bring her back. I think you have to.
Should they have an exorcism? Should they bring in Father Jurgen Elias?
maybe Mordecai or somebody along those lines.
You know what? I don't know what you do with her, but I think this is terrible. It's uninteresting. I have no interest in this woman doing what she's doing. I think the in-ring segments on the swing are hideous. I think the wrestling has no credibility. And yeah, she was one of the ones that I actually enjoyed pre-involvement with The Fiend.
Yeah, I think it's well. That's the unfortunate part about it is where's Bray Wyatt right now? Where's The Fiend? Like that, just kind of he was away because he got burned. He comes back, he gets squashed in WrestleMania, and now he's not around anymore. I don't get it. What's the point?
It's just a shame. He was one of the few guys on the roster that was actually over.
Yeah,
no, he was actually moving merchandise.
Yeah,
he was someone fans wanted to see live, as opposed to Lizzie the doll. But
yeah, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen with him? I know he had a couple kids, so I don't know if he's spending time with them. But again, we go back to it. These guys are supposed to be going out on the road, right? So they're going out on the road soon. They're only working 1 day a week. They're getting injured on the 1 day a week that they work. Are they going to be able to even handle going out on the road?
You're not wrong. If they can't handle 1 day a week, it's not going to get much easier than that.
No, I mean, I don't. I think it's going to be a rude awakening. These guys are going down faster than anybody can even, say going down. And like, again, they're only working once a week. Now, I don't know what they're doing in their off time. Are they getting in a ring and rolling around? I know there's a bunch of schools that are down in Florida, plus the performance center. So maybe they're, bouncing around the ropes and trying to, keep their bump count, up a little bit, so to speak. But, wrestling a match, there's no way you can really prepare to wrestle for a match as far as cardio goes, as far as anything goes. And when you don't wrestle for a while, even a few days, and you take that first bump when you're back, it hurts, man, because you got to get your bump callus up. You got to get your body prepared for it. And I don't know if these guys are actually ready. I don't know. Well, I guess only time will tell.
Well, we're less than a month away from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view weekend, when at least the fans come back, and then some non-televised events follow. They have 25 between mid-July and Labor Day. So, like I said, I wish they had a non-televised event coming up this way. I would enjoy going to see it, but that's just not the way the cookie crumbled, unfortunately.
Are either one of the companies going to be around at all?
AEW is here in September in Boston.
Oh, I think they're going to be down in Newark too. Yeah, they're going to be in Newark too. So no, New York. Maybe it's Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Arthur Ashe Stadium, yeah. I never knew they named a stadium after Arthur, but I learned something new constantly because of wrestling.
That's been around for a while.
Well,
I think he's actually got a few in a few.
He has several stadiums, really.
I want to say he had something to do with something in Connecticut too.
No, good.
I
for
could be wrong though. Yeah,
good for Arthur.
Yeah, Anyway, I guess as we wrap things up, the last thing I want to discuss and touch upon is this new tryout that Impact is putting out there. They're holding an open tryout where if you pay $150, you can go try out for Impact.
Well, that's not new. They did that often before the house shows. They'd have the agent run it, whether it be D'Lo or Al Snow. That's not new.
No, it's not new.
Where is the tryout, though? Where they're really not running anywhere? Would you have to go to Tennessee? Or?
That I don't. I think it's going to be down in Georgia because Luke Gallows has something to do with it, and I think he lives in Georgia.
Oh, well, you know what?
Yeah,
I kind of shrug my shoulders.
Think it's funny. I just think it's funny because they don't normally see it put out there like the way they put it out there. There's like limited spots. It's like they're really just trying to draw straws and get a bunch of people in there to steal their money. They're not going to sign anybody out of it.
I remember Sasha Banks did it when they were up here.
Oh, really? What, an Impact one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would go pay to do that. I think if you're good enough, you're on the radar already.
Yeah, you're not necessarily wrong, but hey, you know what? I'm not.
Now, if it was some kind of camp, I agree with paying. So I've done that before, where I've been to and Dory Funk was holding his Funkin' Dojo. I went down there and paid for that experience to get under my belt and to work with him. I haven't really ever paid for a I don't know, what do they call them? Seminars. I haven't never paid for a seminar, but I wouldn't. That's not saying that I wouldn't if I was somebody just getting into the business and or wanted to improve my skills a little bit or get looked at a little bit, and maybe pick the brain of somebody. So that I can understand. But to say it's an open tryout and pay $150, you're not going to get signed out of it. So what's the point?
And can anyone do it?
That I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I didn't see what it said. It just the ad I saw said limited spots available, $150, contact so-and-so.
It is extremely limited to anyone that has $150.
Yeah. So go borrow your money, folks. Borrow it from mom and dad. Go cut the lawn, clean up your room, get your tights and your boots, and go work for Impact Wrestling.
All right. Well, Tiger, any final thoughts as we get ready to wrap up yet another episode of Wrestling Insider's Stern?
No, just again, catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. Rate, review, subscribe, and you know what? Maybe down the line we'll start throwing around some merchandise for those that are going to give us the 5-star review.
Merchandise, really?
Yeah. We got some.
8
I know
by
you
10s
got a little
left over. Or?
No, they don't want anything of me, but maybe your buddy Marty could leave something laying around for us to hand out
he's going to leave around.
I
don't think would be legal, but that's a different story.
Oh my God, you're terrible. And as we sit here, we are now 58, almost an hour in, and I'm staring at my email and I still don't have my audio. So fans, go to all those podcast sites to not get the audio that I'm looking for.
And let's say, I'm going to before we go, I'm going to double check the email address with you because I'm looking at it right here.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Well, for Mr. Mulligan himself, everyone's favorite tiger, Carol Baskin would pet him until the cows came home. I'm Dan Mirade. We will see you next Sunday night, fans. Just to alert you, due to the feedback we've received from you to show that we are listening. On the weeknights, a lot of you felt 7 p.m. was too early. So we are generally going to go back to the post-wrestling show of the night time slot, which is generally 10 p.m., except on Monday night, which is obviously 11 after Raw. Adjust your schedules, as always. Give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is absolutely free. Over 2,000 free videos. If you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode on top of that. We are looking to have more, not fans, not friends, Boston Wrestling MWF family members. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You get early ad-free access to our in-studio Wrestling Insider shoots. You get access to our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, as seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show. You get some Patreon exclusive videos not seen anywhere else, including some great early access to New Jack, the final interviews, plus you get the knowledge that you, yes you, are helping keep professional wrestling legends working. Again, at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. For Tiger Mulligan, I'm Dan Mirade. We'll talk to you next Sunday. You and yours, be well, good night. Hopefully I come home from Florida uncastrated by Linda. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Philadelphia Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Saturday, June the 20th, 1981. In the opening contest, Kurt Hennig battled Johnny Rodz to a draw. Larry Sharp beat Tony Altamore. Strong Kobayashi with the win over Baron Mikel Cicluna. Angelo Mosca defeated Tony Gurria. Don Morocco pinned WWF Intercontinental Champion Pedro Morales to win the championship. Sergeant Slaughter victorious over Rick McGraw. Rick Martel beat Captain Lou Albano via countout. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Moondogs, retain the titles over S.D. Jones and Dominic DeNucci. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Bob Backlund retained the title over George the Animal Steele. If you were in Philadelphia live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.